Guess you wonder where I've been, Where are you? I searched to find love within.
What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you all of the steps that I take to completely fix the lag in The Sims 3 or significantly reduce it to the point where it's not even noticeable. This is a video that was specifically made for people who play with a lot of custom content and mods. So if you're that kind of person, then this video is just for you. There's going to be timestamps. You can jump around, you can skip ahead, you can come back. Yeah, I hate intros, so let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is show you all just how much CC I'm talking about, and then I'm going to play test my game and show you what kind of performance you can expect after doing all of these steps. So if I go into my documents folder and I right click on the electronic arts, I click on it and then I click on The Sims 3 and I right click and I go to properties, I should have about 30 something gigabytes. Okay, so obviously you know that the documents folder itself is not that much. That's all of my custom content and mods. So this is how much CC I'm working with and how much even though the game was poorly optimized, you will still notice a significant performance boost no matter what your system, rigs, equipment in general, your specs that you're working with. However, your specs are still important in general, and you'll see why during this video. So very quickly, before I get into my load times, I want to explain to you what an SSD is and why you're going to see a significant difference in my load times versus your load times on top of everything else that I've used in this step. An SSD is a solid state drive, and there is a very huge difference in load times with SSD. I will leave links in the description below that's going to show you other people's experiences, and just in general, it's much better for virtual memory and it frees up so much space on your hard drive. So it's a very good investment. I bought mine for $70 at Walmart. It's about 4 terabytes, and I'm not sure what the pricing would be in anybody else's area. It depends on what kind of SSD you can get. You can just get one with even 1 terabyte. So obviously I'm not going to make everyone sit here the entire time that I'm loading up my load time, my new save file, and my existing save file, because that's going to take a couple of minutes. And even though it's a couple of minutes, which is more than anybody could ask for, because I'm certain that's why you're here, I am going to, however, put the stopwatch on my phone, and I'm just going to show you what my load time is for the startup menu so that you get a good idea of what I'm talking about. So this is the load up time in general, just starting up the game. This is the loading time for a new game in a large world. I wanted to test that out specifically. A large world that has a lot of lag issues that people have reported, so Isla Paradiso. And this is the load up time for an existing save file that I have saved over 11 times, and I have built extensively with heavy amounts of CC on pretty much every lot. So now I'm going to be playtesting and showing you guys what it looks like, what my performance looks like on a new save. So because NROS mods, and I do have a lot of NROS mods installed, as everybody should, they start to work its magic the first day. It's very common to experience light stuttering and hiccups as it processes in the background. Like for instance, register needs to create sims for the registers. Traffic mod needs to optimize the cars and routing issues. Master controller needs to sync with all of the sims. I have story progression turned completely off, and I do not have the story progression mod. I did notice more lag with it installed, but in general, my preference is to control the households in my world anyway, as I have a very story-based playstyle. And in here, you're going to see a couple of hiccups, you're going to see some stuttering, but in general, you're going to get a very good, stable, consistent frame rate and not a lot of lag. Usually once you go through an entire day, once it turns 3 o'clock in the morning for the NROS mods, that's when everything kind of cleans up. It cleans up the whole world for you. You're going to notice that the hiccups and stutters cut down significantly because NROS just cleaned up the whole world. However, if you still notice some lag and think that it's caused by these NROS mods, background processes, you can go into City Hall and click NROS mods, and then you click master controller, reset everything, and then you can open up the command prompt and reset sim with an asterisk star. I'm going to show you. And I recommend doing this once a sim week or every 2 sim weeks. You can really do it any kind of time you want to. You can do it as frequently as you want to. I just do this for like maintenance or upkeep. Like if you started on a lag-free game, then doing this every now and then throughout your save file will kind of keep it lag-free. And now this is a level of performance that you can expect on an existing save file that NROS mods have already worked through in the beginning. And this is my general frame rate. As you can see, there's minor stutters here and there, but it's not significant enough to be a big deal. And it's about normal for like any game, any PC game in general, I feel, as there's general stutter. And that could be for various reasons, but none of those will be touched upon in this video.
I don't wanna fall asleep or pass away. I wish that I could change it. I wish that I could stay. Things would be different if I could stay awake. But death is grabbed a hold of me, it's pulling me away. A cup of coffee from my head, but I won't make it out this bed. I hope I go to heaven, so I see you once again. Hold on tight, I'll be gone before you know it. Our love is everlasting, even if I never show it. I'm fading away, I'm fading too fast. It's really a shame that our story won't last. I know I can't go back and see you again. It sucks, that's all. And don't stay away.
So this is the external portion of the video where I will walk through step by step what I did on the outside of my game to optimize its performance. The first thing you want to do is download Turbo Booster. I have already done this, but I will try and show you what all I did as to not mess up my game, but help you with yours, because this is probably the most time consuming parts of the step.
I'll get you up and going out of bed. And I promise the one.
Okay, so I will leave a link in the description to the Tumblr post, as well as the tutorial guide and the thread where the author of this, I guess you can call it a mod, confirms what the process is, and then I will walk you through it as I go along. But I'm not going to be able to do everything because I don't want to mess up my game, as I said before. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make a folder on your desktop, and you want to label it Turbo Travel if you haven't already, and extract the program into the folder. Then you want to make another folder and label it Converted Files. Once you've done that, you open the copy program, and then you send the directory to your Sims 3 folder. Like for instance, if yours is in Origin Game Sims 3 on your C hard drive, then that's where you go. Mine's is on my E hard drive, my state drive, so that's where I sent it. And then a message is going to tell you when it's done copying. And then you're going to open Turbo Traveler Converter program, and you'll see a number. Whatever it is, you bring it down to 2 more numbers. You can bring it down to 1 or 2. Like if it's 12, you're going to make it 10. If it's 8, you're going to make it 6. And these are just how many threads you have on your specific computer. So everybody's going to have a different number depending on their specs and what kind of computer they have. And then you're going to wait for it to finish converting. I believe this is the most time consuming part of it. And once this is done, you've pretty much done over half of this process. Then you're going to open the converted copy file. Some Origin users got got this to work, but just to be safe, I say just do this manually. Once you open the converted copy file, you're going to hit enter. This program places the converted files back in their folders and it does it for you, but we're going to do this manually. So what you do to replace the converted files, like delta build converted hyphen hashtag, that's not hashtag, -0, you simply just delete the original one and then you place it where the original file was. So you're just replacing the builds back into their folders. And if you open your program of the Turbo Traveler on your desktop, there should be a text document in there and all the file locations will be there. So you use that to know where to place the files. So it's going to tell you exactly which folder, which delta build or whatever it was, and you're just going to replace those files into those new folders and you're done. That's it. That's all you have to do. Now that you've optimized all of your game packages, we're going to edit our ini files to cut down lag even more. And before I forget, you have to head to Nexus Mods and download the Sims 3 GPU add-on support. This corrects the Sims 3 GPU usage for you. You can do this manually with the ini files in your documents folder, but this just cuts all that time in half. All you do is open the executable, click search, click run, and then click done, and you're done. So we're going to move on to the ini files. So for the ini files, you're going to open up the Sims 3 ini. You're going to go to your program files, bin, game, you know, all that stuff. You're going to open up your Sims 3 ini file. You're going to hit Control F. You're going to type in memory usage limit, and you're just going to change that 2 to a 4. And then you're going to stay in it. You're going to open up Control F again. You're going to go to dynamic avoidance, and you're going to change the field radius, field length, intersecting distance, field length pad, all of that, and distance multiplier. You're going to change that all to 0.1. What this does is it significantly cuts down the routing issues when Sims walk now, so that they can easily move around each other. It doesn't break your game, and you'll be really grateful that you did this when you actually get in game and Sims are just kind of yelling at each other because one guy's like in front of the door. They'll literally just walk around him and go through the door. Now you want to open up your graphics rule. You want to hit Control F, and you want to change this down here, change the 321, change that to all 3s. This just optimizes your CPU, and all systems at this point can handle it, as the game was made in 2009, so you don't have to worry, and your game is pretty much going to fly. And you're going to stay in graphics rule. You're going to hit Control F again. You're going to go to SETI texture memory, and this is what mine looks like, because this is how many megabytes I have on my graphics card. So you have to find how many megabytes you have on your graphics card. Mine is 8 gigabytes, so that's why my megabytes look like this. And you're just going to convert, like, go to, like, just Google it and convert like how many megabytes are in this many gigabytes, and that's the number that you're going to change it to, so that your SETI texture memory can use that. Now, just as a disclaimer, as this usually goes in the beginning, but maybe you guys haven't done this yet, NROS does say that this does absolutely nothing to your game, as the game itself has already been optimized in later patches. However, I've playtested extensively with these ini files. I noticed a difference in stuttering, general lag, load times without it. And since this trick had been around for almost 10 years and thousands of people have also play tested it and can report back with confirmation that it does work, so honestly, I'm not qualified enough to say for certain if this works, as I don't develop video games and I'm in the process of learning coding to make scripts. However, if you do edit the ini files of a game you are going to see some form of a result. But when you have that many people over the years noticing such a huge difference, can we really call it a placebo at that point? Everyone isn't always going to be right, even if they know a lot about a thing, but to leave it up as an optional step, I believe, does just that. If it works for you, it works for you. Play test it. If you don't notice a difference, back up your INI files and just place them back in the folder. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is 3-booter and FPS limiter. This is a tried and true little tip that people have downloaded. I guess you can call this also a mod. This goes into your game bins folder, right where your Sims 3 executable is. And you're going to change that 3-booter executable and you're going to send that to your desktop instead. And that's going to be how you load up your game. And I'm going to show you that in this video. What this does pretty much is it solves a crash that many people have had where they opened up their game and it would just crash immediately. 3-booter literally just kicks it into overdrive and forces the game to start and run so that you don't crash before the game has even loaded. And this has solved many people's crashes who were having that with this game. And then it couples that with FPS limiter, so you also put this in your game, and what this does is it's basically a VSync for your game. So pretty much the internal core of the Sims 3, and this will all be in the description as well. It doesn't actually have a VSync function, and I'm not sure if it was added in later patches, but for right now I've been using this since I started playing The Sims 3, and I notice an immediate difference. Pretty much it will internally clock the game, and what it did before was it ran so fast and at unnecessary speeds that caused like overheating for your fan and things like that. And you generally want to add a VSync to your games, but you do want to use like an outside VSync. So while we have FPS limiter, this is what gives the game the VSync, and then later on through AMD and NVIDIA settings, we're going to actually apply that VSync to the game that now has one. So now that you've correctly installed 3-booter and FPS limiter, you're going to right click on your 3-booter shortcut. You're going to go to Properties, Compatibility. You're going to run it in Windows 8 mode. I know everybody probably has Windows 10 right now, but this solves a specific crash with this game, and I'll try to find the link and put that in the description as well, where the game, especially those who have Origin, something happens, something goes on where there's just like an incompatibility issue, and in general it's just kind of harder for the game to run it because it's a 32-bit game. So if you run it in compatibility mode with Windows 8, that is going to completely solve that crash issue. Once people did that, they no longer have that specific error crash code. While you're here in this section, you also want to disable full screen optimization, and you will notice a performance boost because of this. I will also leave a link in the description to describe this, but pretty much it doesn't try to read all the pixels or something, and it just displays what the game is displaying. So you should do this with any PC game because it's just the Windows full screen optimization is just not ideal. It doesn't work. It didn't really take into account how all of the other games engines would work with it, so you just want to disable that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is show you guys my AMD Radeon settings. So you're going to right click on your desktop, go to AMD Radeon software, and once it loads, you're going to go into gaming. I will leave a link in the description below for NVIDIA graphics settings. In gaming, you're going to go into The Sims 3. And I'm gonna try to walk through this with you. It may be a little jumbled because I'm watching the video as I'm going along. So you see that average FPS is 101. We don't want that, so we're gonna apply a VSync to it. I turned off image sharpening because it adds onto lag. You're gonna go under Radeon Chill, and I put the minimum as 30 and the maximum as FPS as 60. But what you really want to do, the minimum should be 59 and the maximum should be 60. I don't know why I did 30. I think because I was kind of experimenting with something else, but the minimum should be 59 and the max should be 60, because you don't want to have the screen flicker and jump around, and just gonna be a lot more stutters that you don't want. So turn off image sharpening, because that adds on to FPS. If you want to, if you can handle maybe like 1 or 2 drops of FPS, or maybe just nothing negligible at all, go ahead and turn it on. Enhanced sync you want to disable. Wait for vertical refresh, you're gonna and put that on always on, and this is the description for it. You can just kind of scan your mouse over the little question mark thing. It tells you. Anti-aliasing, you're going to override the application settings right there, and then the level of it, because this is like the actual graphics cards like aliasing thing. The Sims 3 one is not that good, so you can kind of turn that off in your settings, and I'll show you that later. The level you want to put to 2x. You can put it up more if you want to. It's entirely up to you. I'm fine with it at 2x, especially now that I have reshade, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. The method you want to use is multi-sampling. And the morphological anti-aliasing, you want to turn that off, because this can actually cause like square little sections on your trees. Like when you zoom out, it's going to show the trees. It's just going to mess with the mesh of the trees, and it's going to make it transparent and make it look like a square, so you don't want that. Anisotropic filtering, that improves texture clarity. You want to enable that. I put mine to 2x, and this only affects DirectX 9, so the Sims 3 is DirectX 9. You can increase that if you want 2x, it doesn't have to be that. Texture filtering quality on performance, subsurface format optimization enabled, tessellation level 8x, and tessellation mode. Okay, you guys saw it. I'm moving too fast, but it's cool. It's cool. You guys can just go back and pause. AMD FreeSync, you want to optimize that. Scaling mode, do I change it? Yes, I put it to center or preserve aspect ratio. Okay, and then I enable it, because my aspect ratio is larger than what I have in the Sims 3, so this just kind of scales it up without the performance loss. And I did not apply custom color to this game. So now that you've increased your game's ability to use these more powerful specs, you need to allocate more RAM using Windows control settings. So to do that, to allocate your external VRAM, you're going to open the start menu. You're going to go to control panel. You're going to click system. You're going to go to advanced system settings. You're going to go to advanced tab. Under performance, you're going to go to advanced, hit change, hit custom size, and change it to your computer's VRAM. These are my settings. This is how much I was willing to give. You don't want to use all of it, obviously, but this is how much I'm willing to give it. And I changed this for both my hard drive and my SSD, and my game has been like, I don't know. I mean, with all of this stuff, it runs so well that I don't even know like which part did this or that, because it all works perfectly and runs like butter. So now we're going to change our external graphics settings. You want to right click the screen, go to display settings, scroll down, go to graphics settings. You're going to choose the Sims 3 executable right here. You're going to hit options, you're going to hit high performance, and then you're going to save, and you're going to go back up and you're going to turn variable refresh rate on, because remember we turned this on with AMD and NVIDIA if you use NVIDIA, and so you just want to keep everything in tandem with each other, so just go ahead and turn that variable refresh rate on. And now we're going to go and work on our Windows Defender and Crash Fix. This is also another Crash Fix. So you want to search exploit protection in the search menu, and then you're going to go to program settings right here. And then you're going to add a new file, and you're going to click exact file path. And you're going to scroll down until you find control flow guard. You're going to turn that off. and you're also going to turn off the data execution prevention, because this fixes another certain crash error that people were having with Windows Defender. And instead of opening up your command prompt and doing it probably every time you open your game, you can just directly turn this off, so that Windows Defender just doesn't touch that when every time you launch The Sims 3. Now I'm going to show you guys how to allocate your external CPU if your game doesn't already, after making it a high priority. So what you're going to do is, once you open your game, you're going to click the Windows key. You're going to open up Task Manager. You're going to find The Sims 3. You're going to right click it and go to Details. You're going to find it again, click on it again. You're going to set priority and you're going to set it to high. There are legit programs out there that people pay to use for these programs to do this for you every time you open up your game, when you can literally just do this yourself for free. And with everything else, as you can see, you don't have to do this every time. But if you want to add like a little performance boost, you can do this to help on top of everything else that I'm showing you. Now we're going to optimize the Windows game mode. So you're going to go to Settings, you're going to go to Gaming, you're going to go to Game Mode, you're going to turn it on, and the PC will now optimize your computer automatically every time you play any PC game, like in general. And again, people pay like game boosting programs to do this for them. And now we're going to talk a little bit about external programs, but not too much, as I don't want this video to be that long. So the first thing that you want to install is Park Control. That will be in the description. And I'm just going to show you guys briefly what my settings are. And this is so that your game isn't like working in all 4 cores all the time. This is like only when you're active on your computer, and especially when you're playing a game on your computer, will this boost it. But when you're not active, like if you're just watching a movie or something, then Park Control is going to disable those cores and go back to normal, so you don't have to change it every time, and you don't even have to open Park Control anymore after you use my settings. And the next thing we're going to talk about is wise memory usage. And I'm actually going to briefly open this up and show you guys once you download it. This optimizes your memory, as you know. And there will be a link in the description so you can read up on it yourself. And before you even hit optimize, you're going to click on this little the little drop down bar thing here, and you're going to turn on defrag memory, free up memory, and empty standby memory. You're going to have all 3 of these things turned on, and then you're going to hit optimize. It takes a little minute. Your computer might even get like just a little slow, like slightly slow as it's working through, and it takes like 1 minute, less than a minute, to optimize everything for you. And then once it does, it's gonna give you back like a lot more percentage. Like usually when I do it now, as mine's is at 48%, I'll get like 43% back, and every percentage counts, because if you think about how much memory it's actually freeing up for you, it's pretty much like you can play your game longer now. You also want to get CC Cleaner. I'm sure anybody in the simming community has heard of this program. I use CC Cleaner a couple times throughout the day, depending on how long I'm actually on my PC for, but especially if and it will notify you when you have a lot of stuff slowing down your computer, and to just very quickly run a scan on your computer and clean everything up. There's also a bunch of other free features that are involved that are included in this program that you can use as well, and I recommend you do that just as a maintenance upkeep. You can do it weekly, you can do it monthly, it really doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it does matter, but it depends on you. So this part is the internal optimization section. Now I'm going to show you how to internally optimize your game using programs specifically for The Sims 3. But the first thing you want to do is organize your CC folder. I know that a lot of people don't want to do this, and it can be time consuming or like really tedious, but this is what you want to do. So I'm going to very quickly open up mine and just kind of show you guys what I have here. it's on my SSD because I highly recommend that you get one, because you don't want all of this stuff on your actual hard drive, because that's going to take memory away, which the game can't use as you're playing, right? So you want to back up your CC and organize them in folders on your actual SSD card. So I'm going to show you my sorted folder. I'm going to themes, and let's open up basics. I feel like everybody should start with a basics folder. So I'm going to go into basics, and that Asian one is for like world adventures, China stuff. So I wanted to put a lot of oriental stuff into my game, but that we don't have that. So you're going to go into base, create a sim. Let's see, I have base accessories, base clothes, base hair, base makeup, base shoes. And the reason why I have this is because this stuff I'm going to be putting in pretty much all of my themed builds, like CC builds. So instead of me like having to go through everything or refine all this stuff on Tumblr, it's all already here, and this is stuff that I'm going to be using in pretty much every playthrough, unless it's like a medieval playthrough, or I don't really care to have a bunch of my base stuff in there and like it's like a really intense supernatural CC build or something like that. But if you come in here, like I'm going to open up base clothes, and I have adult female, adult man, and CFPF, which is children and toddlers. So yeah, you're just gonna open that up and you're gonna see just a bunch of stuff in here. So, and I do the same for hairs. I don't believe I do the same for makeup, no. And I don't do the same for shoes, since I don't really have a lot of shoes that I use. Well, I mean, I don't know what a lot is to y'all, but it's not enough for me to really break everything down into like age groups, especially because I use a lot of pixie cat shoes that pretty much do that for you. And I'm going to show you what I do with my base objects. So you're going to open that up. I put all of my build stuff in here. And then you're gonna go to buy mode. I do in collections, because collections are the secret to having lots of custom content in your game. I promise you, this may be another time consuming part of this guide, but it is so worth it when you actually get in game. So I have collections, deco, furniture, and vehicles. My vehicles I do not break down like that, and my furniture I break it down by room, like just like in the Sims 3, and I just add like sets and stuff. I have lighting in here, I have neon signs in here, and this just helps me also find like a specific piece of CC instead of just scrolling through thousands of stuff in one folder. Everything is very organized, and this also helps you build your collections as well. And you're going to go into deco. Like I have deco here, and as you can see, I have art deco, bathroom deco, bedroom deco, and stuff for like boyish rooms, girlish rooms, drug deco, food deco, misc stuff, mirror, like hallway, like all of that stuff. All of this stuff which is important of me to keep separate, because if I can go into that misc section in buy mode as little as possible, I absolutely will. I only want to open it once a year. So this is what I do. And then I go into collections, and I have community collections, and as you can see, these are all of my community collections. Not very extensive, but this is just basic stuff that I want to decorate like my community lots with. And then I have like a Savvier Seller one out here, because that is a part of a mod, and I wanted to keep that very specific. And you can of course organize these how you want. If you want to use my way, you can, just to kind of give you guys a head start or help you feel things out a little bit easier, then you can use that. For mods, I want to show you that really quickly before we move on to the next section. I'm going to go back, and it's in my permanent right here in the themes, and I go into mods, and I go into permanent, and then these are what I use. Some collections like that you download online, you're going to have to put them in your mods folder or mods in general in your mods folder. And my sliders, my store content, my store mods, my CC merged package, and then I also merged my skins because I didn't know that skins were actually supposed to go in mods and not create a sim. So that's what I did, because I noticed there were a lot of issues when I put it in my create a sim and not like my actual mods folder where the game will load them. And this is my in-game current, and let's see, I split this up. So the first mod build, which you will see when I actually show you my documents, my mods in my documents folder, I have core mods, and then I have default replacements in there. See? And it's really good to separate your mods like this so that you know what kind of mod you're downloading, first of all, and then that gives you a good idea of how mods work in general. And you went to mod 2, and I have food, rabbit hole rugs come out. Mod 3, scripts and tweaks. Tweaks are very different from scripts. Scripts adds stuff to the game, like new stuff to the game. Tweaks just tweak what's already in the game. So it's really important to know the difference, because if you have like a conflict somewhere, you're going to need to know what's causing it, and if you could possibly even tweak it yourself to make it compatible with another mod. Let's move on to the next section. So now that you just organized all of your CC and your mods, you want to open up Delphy's dashboard. And what you can do is you can go through each of the folders first and then look at what you may need to manually delete or replace, even if you want to. And then you can kind of copy all of those objects, like all of the create a sim and like deco and furniture and objects, and you want to put that in one big folder on your desktop and then run Delphy's dashboard again, because some things might conflict with another thing, some things are duplicates, some things are broken CC, and Delphy's dashboard won't actually know until you get that CC in the same folder as that CC. So you want to run Delphy's dashboard through those folders first, just to get like the easy part out of the way, and then the hard part would be to add all of that stuff and copy it into another folder on your desktop with all of it. Like it could even be thousands, like 2,000, 3,000 files, and run Delphy's dashboard and then go through it yourself again. For this part, you don't have to do it manually. You can just let Delphy's dashboard fix it for you. But for the mods, it's really important to do that, because you won't know if a mod is conflicting, like if a mod in tweaks is conflicting with a mod in scripts, unless you get it all in that same folder. But you do want to keep your stuff organized, so you just want to copy that into one big file for you to run it through. And then that's pretty and it will tell you, like, obviously I don't have any issues now, so I can't show you on the video, but it will tell you like why this mod conflicts with the other mod, or why this is considered a duplicate with the other one. So you just want to go through that, and this helped my game tremendously when I got rid of so many mods. That's how I realized that a lot of NROS mods that I just didn't read the description of did a lot of stuff for a lot of other mods that I already had installed. Now you want to use S3RC, and you want to run each of those folders again, except your mods folder. We can do this later after we merge our mods, and you're pretty much just going to cut down the megabytes on each of these folders. Now, everybody knows that with The Sims 3, it doesn't matter how big the files are, it just matters how many files the game has to read. So the less files the game has to read as it's running, the better and more performance that you're going to see immediately as you're playing your game. However, you do want to give your computer in general, especially your hard drive, more megabytes, and every little megabyte counts, because the more megabytes you give your computer, the more VRAM your game can actually use as you're playing it. So this part is optional, but you will notice a tremendous difference if you take this time to go through each of those folders you just organized and do it that way. Next, we're going to download S3PE, link will be in the description, and this is how we're going to merge our mods. After you've run your mods through Delphy's dashboard and you found all your mod conflicts and got rid of them, I recommend looking for an alternative mod or lightweight mod to replace the mods you deleted. But I don't know everyone's mod folders, so I can only guess by this point there are alternatives out there for what you had to delete. I didn't have to do that, like I said, with my my experience, a lot of mods were considered duplicates and just had straight up conflicts because a lot of NROS mods already included what I was looking for in those other individual specific mods. But you're going to open up S3PE here, just got this open one right here, and you're going to throw all of your mods from these folders, like the folders that I have set up, and you're going to create a new file on your desktop. I'm going to show you right here how you're going to do it. And you're going to rename them, and the way that I had it set up in my folder, that's exactly what's going to be in these packages. In this one package file, it's going to be mod 1, mod 2, mod 3. So you're going to let that run through, rename them, and don't forget to merge your skins either, by the way. And also, a lot of people who, when S3P first came out, a lot of people had said that merging mods was bad for your game, it wasn't safe for your game, and the only reason why I could find that is because The Sims 3 in general needed to update the game, and mod authors in general were updating their mods for each new patch build. But since the game hasn't been patched in I don't know how long, and most mod authors aren't actually, updating their mods anymore, it's completely safe to merge your mods now. And again, it's just going to help your game, because the less files your game has to read, the more performance you're going to gain. So you can absolutely merge those mods, and I will also leave another link in the description that shows you how to unmerge specific parts of this merge package, so that you can just go right back into that merge package and delete that one mod and then re-merge like the updated mod into it. And the reason why this wasn't really talked about is because I know that a lot of people find this kind of stuff intimidating. They don't really want to touch it too much, but it's very easy. Don't be intimidated by it at all. It is just as easy to unmerge a package from a merged package than it was to merge them. So don't worry at all. It's completely safe. So now we're moving on to the CCMagic portion of the video. This will probably also be another time consuming part, but it will be worth it in the end, and it also depends on how much CC you have in your game. So what you want to do when you open CCMagic, I don't know if anybody knows how to do it, so I'm just going to briefly show you that. Once you install it, it's going to create a new folder right above your Sims 3 folder, and you go into your Sims 3 folder. It's going to make a mods folder for you, so just be prepared for that. You can back up your mods folder if you didn't use CCMagic before. And for this part, like let's say for the create a sim CC, you can just throw all of it into your downloads folder. Like just copy Control-C and then Control-V, paste it into your downloads folder from each folder that you organize, because you don't actually have to put it in like its own adult female, adult male, theme. Like it could just all go into one thing, because there's never going to be, the game separates that for you, so it's not like you're creating a collection file for it. So you can just put it all in one thing and rebuild the package so that it just does all of it for you immediately. You don't have to organize this. For the objects, however, there are two ways that I'm going to show you how to build collection folders. So if you're starting with a brand new CC build, it's not a lot of CC, you want to create your first collection right here, and then you're going to rebuild it, and then you're going to close CCMagic. You never want to hit clear cache. Never hit clear cache. This doesn't just clear like everything. It clears all of the items that you built in your collections. Like it clears your cache files, all of the objects and the hair that's in there. Like you don't want to hit clear cache unless you're really starting over. So you're just going to rebuild it and close CCMagic, and then you're going to reopen CCMagic again, and then you're going to click on collections right here in the first menu, and you're going to click the file because it's going to be here now because you just rebuilt it. You built it into your collections folder, and then you're going to hit rebuild, because this just sets it up so that the next time you open it, everything that goes from your downloads folder here that you rebuild is going to go into that collection folder. And then once you rebuild it, you're going to close out. You're going to put the items that you have in your collection folder, and you're going to put that in your downloads folder. And then you're going to open CCMagic again, and it's going to go through all of its phases, and it's going to load the objects into CCMagic, and you're going to hit rebuild. And what you did here is that you built it into that collection folder, and then you're going to click it. You're going to click Control A. You're going to drag and drop it into that theme. Like for this, obviously it's going to be in objects, and then you're going to rebuild it again. And you're gonna do that for the entire, like, whatever collections folder you've already organized in your backup folder. You're gonna do this same step every time. And I know that building the collection folders can be a little weird to work with, but this is the only way that I've got it to work with without having any type of errors or mistakes with like putting items in a collection folder. This is the cut and dry way to do it, so that you know exactly what's going in your collection folder and you don't open up your game later and be like, where's all my stuff? Like, because you didn't do it right. So you have to do it like this. And once you're done doing all of that with your objects, you're going to go into CCMagic. Let me see if I can open this for you. CCMagic, and you're gonna go to content right here, and you go through archives, whatever's in there, delete it. Corrupt, whatever's in there, delete it. Or you shouldn't have anything in corrupt because you did Delphy's dashboard. Packages, whatever in there, delete that. Sims 3 packs, whatever in there, delete that. Store packs, whatever in there, delete that. Now the reason why we're deleting this is because you again don't want the content to take up so much space on your computer. Like if you have 2 gigabytes of space and you rebuilt your packages, your merged packages in your mods folder, that's going to be around 2 gigabytes of space. It's just all merged down in, and then you're also going to have 2 gigabytes of that same content in your CCMagic wherever I was just at. You're gonna have all of that content there. So now you're gonna have like an extra 2 gigabytes, and you don't need that. So you can just go ahead and delete that. But if you ever want to like add on to your mods folder that you already have, the next time you open CCMagic, it's going to delete all of that stuff for you. But because it doesn't have any of the objects or stuff that was in that folder to go off of to continue building your packages. So this is the second way that I found to get around that. So again, because we deleted the CCMagic caches, rebuilding packages will delete your mods folder without any of the merge CC. So you have to, put this in a backup folder again, as I'm going to show you, and you're going to place your mods folder in it and put it in there. And this is the step to use for people who already have built packages. So now that you've backed that up, you can go ahead and add the new CC. So you're going to put create a sim in that theme, and objects go in their theme. And what I like to do is I like to back up my collections folder, and I like to delete everything out of it, so that when I create my new collection, that's like the only thing that's going to be in there, because they're not named personally for you, right? There's just like a bunch of letters and numbers in there, and it can get really annoying. And of course, depending on how frequently you build your collections or whatever, you can just click like the date thing right here at the top and change it, but nobody got time for that. So I just think it's easier to delete the stuff out of my collections folder, and then whatever collections I built during this CCMagic session, I put into my collections in my backup folder, and then I just put those collections back into my Sims 3 documents folder. But now what you want to do is go into your mods folder and your new mods folder, and you're going to grab those new builds. And then you're going to open up your backup folder, and you're going to rename those new builds to whatever that next number was in your backup folder. And I'm going to show you how to do it just like this. And then you're going to replace the renamed builds and put them in that backup folder. And then you're going to delete your new mods folder right here, and you're going to place your backup mods back in your Sims 3 documents folder. And then you can delete the CCMagic caches of all that new stuff and new content that you have. And it's going to give you back like gigabytes of space by deleting these CCMagic caches. So just go ahead and do it. It's okay. And I just showed you another way that you can continue to add more content to your already built packages without deleting all of that stuff.
best if you left me alone. You lock yourself in the bathroom, lying on the floor with a breakthrough. I pull you in to feel your heartbeat. Can you hear me screaming, please don't leave me? Hold on, I still want you. Come back, I still need you.
So now we've reached like the second to last part of this guide. We're going to talk about the startup rituals. So what you want to do is run CC Cleaner, obviously, and you're going to do the, scan the computer, make it feel better, and then you're going to run wise memory usage right here. And just like how we said before, the defrag and everything like that, just defrag it and it's going to clear up some more space for you. And then you're going to turn on airplane mode, because I'm pretty sure everybody knows this by now as well. You don't need to play The Sims 3 with the internet, and having the internet on actually causes lag too, because you have those processes running in the background that you can't access it, so there's really no point in having it on. And then you're also going to delete your cache files here, and you can do this every time you start up your game, or like right before you start it up, or you can do it like every 10 times, every 15, 20 times, like however many times you need. You will need to delete that cache after a while because it gets bigger, just like your save file. You also want to delete your featured items. I know that there is a guide to make it so that The Sims 3 can never put anything into the feature items anymore, but I've used it and I don't know, it just doesn't work. I do it with admin and everything and it just doesn't work. So I don't mind personally, because if your internet is off, it's not going to add featured items to your folder, at least I think. But I don't know, because I can't really turn off my Wi-Fi right now because I have like an actual Ethernet connected to it. So I've been deleting the featured mods, but I think that before, when I put on airplane mode, it didn't add featured items to it. And then you want to delete your old saves or back them up. And about the saves, you don't want to create new saves. You want to save over it and you want to add like the next number to it, because instead of me just butchering the description for that, I will just leave that link in the description for you to read why it's best to overwrite your saves instead of creating new ones. And for your old saves, you don't have to like delete it. You can just back it up just in case something goes wrong. So there's that.
I'll make it okay.